What's going on, guys? So earlier this week I put out a video that you guys might have watched that was surrounding kind of physical retail, how they need to adapt and change, and this was kind of through the perspective of nutritional supplements. And when I uploaded that video, just like how I always do, I shared on some of my personal and business social media accounts, and industry experts from all sides of the industry usually create some really good engagement on those posts. And if you guys do want to be a part of that community, I put all my links to my social media down below. You guys can always follow me or connect with me on other social media accounts outside of YouTube. But what was getting kind of talked about, like fringe topics around physical retail, and one that was brought up, one that kind of comes up over and over and has always been kind of a part of the nutritional supplement industry, is around kind of black market products. The conversation started around how, physical retailers have a little bit less regulatory, or maybe it's a little bit easier to hide this aspect than it is like an internet retailer or a marketplace. Just so I kind of discuss like what I mean with a black market product or black market supplement in this case, I'm talking about pro hormones, I'm talking about SARMs, I'm talking about maybe stimulants that aren't available or no longer kind of available in the market, maybe some research chemicals that are things that should not be bought unless you have a prescription. But it could encompass a lot of other things that maybe are not made in a CGMP certified facility. And CGMP certification is kind of like a good manufacturing practice standard that the FDA kind of wants for commercialization of supplements, nutritional supplements. So there could be a ton of different things. But the first kind of question I want to talk about is like, why would they stick their neck on the line to even sell black market goods? And I've been in the industry, I cut my teeth in the nutritional supplement industry. I've been in the nutritional supplement space for over a decade now. I started in college, left a little bit, came back, and been there ever since. And though I maybe handle some other categories with clients now, it's still bread and butter for me. It's still where a lot of my focus is at. And early on in my career, especially extremely early on in my career, I spent a lot of time in the stores, both from a chain perspective, also a lot of mom and pop shops. I'd say, quite a few hundreds of them in my career. So anybody that's been in the industry for long enough knows black market goods are not anything new. There's always been this idea that, the good stuff is the good stuff's behind the counter in the back, and if you're in the know, you know how to get it. This is not a new thing. This is not something that has just kind of came up over the last couple of years. So what's all the commotion about? Why are brands upset? And what's going on? I'll tell you straight out, bluntly, the problem is competition now. It has nothing to do with these gray market products, but brands are feeling the competition, stores are feeling the competition, and quite honestly, brands, stores, whatever, they're scared. They're scared. I don't want to sound like a dick here, but quite honestly, that's the case right now. Regardless, let's kind of dig in a little bit and kind of look at all the sides of this equation and understand maybe why these black market supplements sold. And let's look at it first from like the store perspective. First of all, like customers are still asking for these products. And this is just natural. Anybody that's been in functional CPG and intent-driven, goal-oriented type of product category, that people are looking for this magic pill. They're looking to cut out work. Anything that can get them bigger, faster, stronger, quicker. People, quite honestly, a lot of people are willing to put into their bodies. This is just human nature, I guess. This isn't something that I spend a lot of time thinking about. It's just been proven over and over again. It's been proven so many times at this point that it's not useful for me to think about. And there's also the idea of like instant gratification and people wanting to get results quick as possible, and they don't realize like either they do know or they don't know there's maybe a sacrifice with quality that goes along with some of these black market products. And we'll kind of touch on that a little bit later. The other reason why stores continue to sell is the profit margin is higher. But let's kind of talk about a little bit more about like why that's so important now. The profit margins have been the same forever, but why are they so important now? So right now, like physical retail is in pretty tough space. I touched on it in the video before. I'll make sure I link it here above that you guys can hit one of those like kind of pop-ups. But talked about it before. There are winners. There's a lot more losers that are happening. The difference between great physical retailers and just order takers, the spread is getting a lot bigger. what this is kind of causing is that like store traffic's down. Because store traffic's down, your overall revenue numbers are down. Early, like maybe 3 to 5 years ago, the one of the things that a lot of these supplement physical retailers did was they would flip things on maybe internet retailers. They would also maybe create some small distribution networks, or they would, or they'd put it on a marketplace like Amazon. And that's kind of dried up. One, because a lot of these retail shops are kind of closing, so you don't have that distribution network anymore. Internet retailers, outside of some major big ones, are not really effective anymore in the industry. And then marketplaces, a lot of brands are smartened up. They realize that more is not better when you're talking about a listing of having sellers, and they've closed down a lot of their listings. So there's not a lot of that available anymore. And all this is happening while fixed costs are increasing, some from the rent perspective, some from the utility perspective. Labor costs are going up now, especially in a tighter labor market. So you have issues where you're having less ability to create revenue, but you have a higher base of fixed costs. Hopefully the physical retailer, the entrepreneur, is smart enough to understand how to cut variable costs, hustle, do what they need to do. But more times than not, what's happening is those people are not actively managing their business the right way, so they're falling to needing to sell some of these black market products. You also have, the service side of this is a lot of physical retailers are just lacking the elevated customer service expectation that people have now. With a substitute like the digital channel, you don't necessarily need to shop in a physical retailer anymore. You don't have to buy from a supplement shop anymore. You can go on somewhere else and get the same terrible customer service or non-existing customer service from a digital channel perspective, and it's just as good as the physical retail, plus you save time and you probably save money. So all this is kind of rolling up, and what these retailers need to do is they need to sell and need to push these black market products, because this like higher margin, higher ticket item is keeping them alive right now, and that's why they're doing it. Now let's flip this over to like the brand side, the brand perspective. Brands are upset because, one, like their products, if they're meeting CGMP certification, they're doing things the right way, their products stacked up 1-to-1 is not going to compete against a pro hormone or a SARM or something. So from a pure results oriented kind of comparison, it's tough to compete there. Now I talk a lot about brand perspective, brands, this, that, or whatever, and if you guys watch me for long enough, you guys know, like in the supplement, sports nutrition, all that kind of categories, a lot of times we're talking about product companies, not brands. They're not building big, well-composed brands. So what ends up happening is these products get put on a shelf, and the difference between now and maybe 10 years ago, when the same black market products were getting sold, is that you have 10 times or 20 times more of the same product category on the shelf. So you're now sitting there and you have instead of having maybe a 1 out of 10 chance of getting the sale, you have a 1 out of 50 chance of getting a sale. And how do you compete if you're only a product and you really don't have this overarching brand values and all these different things? You end up defaulting to this race to the bottom. You have to compete on price. You have to constantly push the machine and do what you need to do to get products out, to get churn. And it's just a bad rat race that ends up happening. What ends up happening is either the brand decides, I'm going to continue to play this game, or they decide, I'm going to go and sell online, I'm going to sell direct to consumer, I'm going to sell internet, I'm going to sell marketplaces. But a good majority of those brands don't understand that just because you go and sell online, if you are just a product company, you still need to build a brand digitally. You still need to stand out across a much bigger competition pool, because the digital shelf can have 50,000 products on there, not 50 just because it's restricted by the square footage of a retail shop. So you're still in the same rat race because you haven't done the work you needed to, but you get mad at the physical retailer because they're selling these products and you're not getting a fair sniff comparable to those products. There's this back and forth that's been happening a lot more over the last couple of years. And this, again, goes all back to competition. Has nothing to do with the products. Those products have been there forever. It has to do with the elevated competition that's happening in the market now. And then finally, to touch on the customer's perspective, we said before, they're still asking for these products. There's still a subsection of customers that are willing to ingest just about anything, either knowingly or unknowingly, into their body to get results. The unknowingly part bothers me a little bit because I think there's a fiduciary duty for supplement stores or anybody to explain to somebody what exactly they're consuming. If that person understands the risks and understands everything, wholeheartedly go at it. I'm libertarian. I think you should, as a able-minded adult, you should be able to consume whatever you want. I'm not going to get onto that argument here. But the supplement store, anybody needs to have the know-with-all to explain this to a consumer so they know what the cost benefit is of that. At least on my perspective, like, consumers, they haven't changed over the last decade, 2 decades, 3, whatever it is. Like, consumers are still looking for great products and great brands. This is very simple. Things haven't changed. But what I'll say is the thing that has changed is that, one, there's a ton more competition. 2, the customer doesn't really care where they buy these products anymore. They don't need to support physical retailers. They don't need to support, anybody. They kind of go where they feel best. What fits best into their life at that time. As the natural barriers of entry to this category continue to lower, you're going to have a lot more brand competition. This isn't going to stop. And because there's going to be a lot more brand competition, and with a lot more of this brand competition and people going digital and really building out the buying behavior of going digital, there's this kind of shift in the leverage or power that's happening. Before, retailers were the gatekeepers. They were the people that you needed to make sure that you had on your side because they were going to build your brand and all that kind of stuff. That's not the case anymore. The power is more on the brand. They can go digital, go all digital. I mean, there are brands out there that sell tens of millions of dollars with one customer, Amazon. That's it. That's all they have. Maybe that's not the smartest thing to do because of things that are happening with Amazon, but that's a whole other discussion. At this point, the brands honestly have more power. And we'll see over these next couple of years if the brands fully realize they have the power, or if they continue to complain by playing the same game and expecting to get new results. The problem is not black market products. The problem is the game has changed, and there are some brands that want the old game to come back, and it's not. They're being left behind. And the quicker they adapt, the quicker they evolve, the quicker they can survive and be relevant again. But I wanted to end this video here. Hopefully you guys got some value out of this. I would love for you guys to support me by hitting the thumbs up button. It's right down below. It just takes one real quick click. Doesn't cost you guys anything. All that does is help me understand you guys enjoyed this content. It also helps YouTube understand you guys got value out of this content, and they'll share this video to more people that are outside of my community. Help me grow it and help me get more subscribers. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, make sure you guys do hit that button as well when you're down there hitting that thumbs up. I just want to thank you guys for spending a little time with me on this video. Hopefully you guys got some value in return for that time that you gave me, and I'll see you guys on the next one.